today's section, our topic for today is using Power Query Join to get your data to cooperate. And our guest speaker, our special guest is Soleil. So let's tell you about the company itself, UrBizEdge. So UrBizEdge is a registered Microsoft Excel consulting, financial modeling, business intelligence, data analyst, and enterprise solution firm in Nigeria. We specialize in helping company and high-value professionals be on top of their business data analytic gain. So let me just show you some of our calendars for our upcoming topics, upcoming training. So these are the calendar for our upcoming training, which is happening next month, October. So we have the in-depth Excel training and executive dashboard and business data analysis, which is coming up October 8th to 9th. Also, we also have big data analysis, Power Query, Power Pivot, and VBA in Excel. We also have business intelligence and dashboard using Microsoft Power BI. So I'm going to read the profile of our special guest, which is Soleil. So most of you might not know, Soleil is a Microsoft Excel MVP since 2005 and is the owner of the popular YouTube channel called Excel on Fire, which is a very, very popular one. If you search for Excel on Fire on YouTube, you're definitely going to find them. He's also the co-author of Guerrilla Data Analysis, second edition, which was also co-written with Mr. Excel and Bill Jelen. So most of you might not know, the book itself is actually gives Excel tips and best Excel practices for data analysts. Also has several courses online, which is on LinkedIn Learning platform, which one of the most popular one is called Excel Weekly Challenge. You can also check that out on LinkedIn. He has passion for ghost pepper sriracha, which is actually like a sauce. It told me it's a sauce right now.
Yep.
Yeah. He's a kind of ornery cowboy when talking about data and encourage people to go rogue if it means they can get something done for their customer. So you can see us LinkedIn profile. You can also see his YouTube channel, which is Excel on Fire. So I'm going to hand over the section to us now. So Oz, over to you.
All right. Thank you.
I'll still
Thank
share
you.
my screen.
All right. Well, thanks everybody. Thanks for the invite. Thanks for all of the support. And I see a lot of familiar people and new people. And so this is going to be exciting. And please, if you have questions, unmute yourself and ask. Unless people start acting up, then we have to mute everybody and lay down the law. But yeah, don't leave me hanging out here by myself. All right. And there is Facker's head. All right. Nice head. All right. So we are going to talk about joins. And then I understand that there are some other questions that'll be asked at the end. So let me share my screen. Right. Go. So a big thing with joins in Power Query is, where do they live? What is this language? Because we hear things like anti-join and outer join, and what is an anti and anti of what? Okay, something is shuffling. Shouldn't those kids be in the bed? Okay, all right, they're going to bed. Okay,
The Uncle
all
Oz is
right,
over.
huh?
You know the Uncle Oz is over here.
Oh, okay, cha-cha, cha-cha. All right, cool. So here's how we'll start. We're going to look at two lists. We've got invited, we got Calvin down through Trout, and then people who attended a workshop, Ellie down through Tina. Okay. But now let's look at this. We see Ellie is on both lists. Irfan is, Sig is. Flo attended but wasn't invited. Trout was invited but didn't attend. But now if we look at it this way, now we can see clearer, and this starts to look like an old friend, the Venn diagram. And so now we can see left, right more clearly. Left side, right side, overlap are the inside. And now we can start to look at our different joins. There are 6 joins in Power Query. Okay, we've got the left outer join, and that is telling us everybody on the left side, whether they have a match or not. So we have Ellie and we've got Calvin. Okay, even though Calvin was invited but didn't attend. Okay, so the left is everybody who was invited. The right outer join is everybody who attended, whether they were invited or not. Inner join, people who are in both sides, invited and attended. The left anti-join, everybody who is on the left side that does not also have a match on the right side. Okay, so everybody who was invited but also did not attend. Right anti-join, everybody who attended but was not invited. Everybody on the right side that does not also have a match on the left side. And then the full outer join gives us everybody, whether they have a match or not. And then here's the crazy part. The Excel interface or the Power Query interface, there is no left or right. There's a top and a bottom. And you have to remember, the top is going to be your left side. The bottom is your right side. Okay, so any questions so far? Because I went through that really quick, and I can get into some examples. Any questions at all? Okay. Now, who has not done joins or is not very comfortable with them? Can you unmute or put something in the chat and let me know? Let's see.
Or you can raise your hand.
Or raise your hand. So everybody has done joins.
Yeah, seems so.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Hey, someone hands is up.
Huh? Oh,
Oduwale's hands up.
okay.
And Fola
All right.
Shade. Yeah, so we have 2 people hands up.
Okay, beautiful. All right, so here is what we're gonna do. Here's what we got. We've got people who were invited and their address, and then people who attended and their email addresses. And it would be nice if we say want Ellie, it would be nice to have the email and the address lined up. So let's start out by doing a full outer join. Okay, so we have to start. I'm going to look at data and queries and connections. Okay, no queries or connections right now. So right click here. Get data from sheet. Table does have headers. Okay, let's do some of this. All right, and then I'm going to call this invited. Okay, and then I'm going to close and load this to a connection only. I don't want to load this onto the workbook or onto a sheet because I haven't done anything. All right, so I'm going to close and load to and only create connection. Okay. Now you see I've got the invited query. Same thing, right click, get data from sheet. Okay. Some of this. And then attended. And close and load to. Load it as a connection only. Okay. And we see it there. All right, so now let's get some join action happening. Data, get data. combine queries, merge. Okay, so I'm going to put invited up top. That's going to be my left side, and then attended on the bottom. I want to do a full outer join. And what do we want to match up? We want to match invited and attended. And okay. Now, the left side is expanded. The right side is collapsed. So I'm going to expand that. I don't want to use original column name as prefix. Okay. So now we see where there's a match is matched up. All right. So that's our full outer join. We've got everybody, and where there's a match, they made a match. See, flow, there is no match there because flow is not on the left side, the invited side. All right, so I am going to close and load this to the workbook and call this full outer. Okay. Next, let's do an inner join. I'm gonna minimize, I'm getting distraction. Okay, go to data, get data, combine queries, merge. Wanna put invited, attended, inner, match attended and invited, and okay. Now what I'm going to do here is I don't need these names because they're going to be the same names. All right, so I'm going to uncheck attended. Okay, so now we just have the people who were both invited and attended and their address and their email. And we can even change this to invited and attended. All right, and then we can close and load this. All right, this is the inner. Cool, so let's do an anti-join. All right, so I'm gonna go to data, get data, combine queries, merge. We've got, okay, attended. Wait a minute, so let's go ahead and do this. Okay, attended is up top. Now that's on the left side. Now put invited down here. Okay, attended, invited, match those up. And we want to do, say, a left anti-join. Any guesses what we're going to get from this? Once I click OK, what's going to be the result? Anybody? Y'all getting shy?
You will get everyone who has attended but is not invited, right?
Yep, attended but not invited. So let's see what happens. Okay. All right, so yep, attended, and then this. When I expand this, what might I see? I should see nothing because, huh?
You'd see null, right?
Right, yep, exactly. So here I can expand, and there is nothing there. So what I can actually do is just delete this, remove, okay, because they attended but were not invited. And remember that we picked what we wanted for our left and right, okay, and we kind of actually reversed it from what the images looked like. Okay, so let's see. Here's what I'm gonna do. I got these queries, and this was the left anti. So what I want to do is right click and duplicate this, and then I'm gonna go to my source. Well, I gotta be careful. Get rid of that. Okay, so now I want to do a right anti, and leave it like that, and go okay. And now the left side is collapsed. I have to expand the right side. And I did this deliberately to show you that I didn't have to go all the way back into Excel and create this from scratch. I stayed right here in Power Query. And this is right anti. Okay. And then I can remove other columns and expand. Okay. So these are the people who were invited but did not attend. All right. So we've got the left outer and right outer left. How is this for everybody? Am I going too fast, or everybody cool?
That's
Okay,
perfect.
okay.
Perfect.
Okay. All right. All right. So let's see. So I'm gonna do this trick again. Duplicate, and then get rid of these steps. Go to my source, and now I want a left outer, which is gonna give us, so this is the left, so we're gonna get everybody who attended, and if they were invited, they'll get a match, but we're gonna get everybody on the attended list. Okay. And then expand this. Okay. And there we are. Everybody who attended. And if they were invited, then we have their information. All right. And then the left outer is the last one. Oh, let's see. So this was the right outer, right? I'm gonna go back and look. Yeah, left outer. Okay. Duplicate. All right. Okay. Expand. Okay. So now everybody who was invited, whether they attended or not, and where there's a match, the match has been made. All right. So now I'm going to close and load all of these. So those are the 6 joins done really fast. And then I've got other examples to share, because life is not always so easy as just doing a straight naked join. All right. Any questions? Okay.
So flamboyant's hands are up. I don't know.
Actually,
Someone
someone.
yeah, flamboyant.
No,
Hello.
I had a question before, but I'm good now.
Oh, what was your question?
I wanted to answer when you asked what query the attended and invited will give, but someone already answered.
Okay. All right. But you it's squared away now, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right. So let's see. Now, the outer join initially can look like it does what VLOOKUP, index match, XLOOKUP does. Okay, because if we want to look up this address and pull over the name, it'll do it. VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP, index match. But here is how an outer join can really help us, is because we see there are two people who live here. The lookup functions won't bring back those two. All right, so now we're gonna so let's see, equals XLOOKUP, lookup value is here, comma, the lookup array here, comma, return. Let's see, this is all in the way. H, golly. Okay. Look up the address, comma, look up array, the address, comma, return the name, and the rest of that is optional. Okay. And right, we only have one person here. But what the Power Query and joins can help us with now is this. I already have the addresses query and the residence query. Okay, so I'm gonna go get data, combine queries, merge. With addresses here, I'm gonna match address, residence, match up address. And I am going to do a left outer join because I only want these people. I don't want everybody over here. So, okay. Some of this, expand, don't want that, and okay. Now we see we started with 7 and now we've got 10 because the outer join was able to make every match where there is a match. And at this address, there are 3 people that need to be contacted about this maintenance that's scheduled. So this is a reason why you really need to know Power Query and all 6 of these joins for situations like this. All right. All right. Here we go. Bring this up and we can see how beautiful this is. All right, and we could even go back in here and let's say I didn't need the address again. Boom, get rid of it. Okay, so now it makes sense. And that updated. Beautiful. And let's see, I'm gonna close this. And now we want to look at What happens when we need to do a match by 2 criteria? So Funk Base 2 is on Saturday. Funk Base 2, okay, so there's only one funk bass. But Modern Disco Saturday, Modern Disco Tuesday. Okay, so we've got to match up both the workshop and the day. All right, so data, queries and connections. Okay, so the queries are already made. Now, get data, combine queries, merge. Got students, we'll put that on my top or my left side, and then the classes. All right, so now I want to match up session with workshop, and then hold down the control key. Days, day. And I want to leave this as a left outer join, because what I want to do here is we need to say, okay, Funk Base 2 is with Cap in room B1. That's what we want to get over there. So Modern Disco on Thursday is with Brady in room A6. Okay. Bring this up. Expand. I don't need the day or the room. Well, I do need the room. I don't need the workshop. Okay. There we are. Everything is all matched up. We've got advanced music theory on Wednesday, advanced music theory on Thursday. Everything is all matched up, and that is what happens when we have to use more than one criteria to get everything matched up, clean, and beautiful. And I can close and load this. All right. So let me ask, do people understand, is there anyone who doesn't understand why I load some as a connection only? Does anybody need any clarification on that?
I think no one. I think we're good.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Any question? Okay.
All right. Hafiz asked if we can share the data. I mean, I can provide the workbooks later. I can do that. All right. Now, we've got one more thing to show you that's pretty cool, and it's relatively new. Okay. Here, got a situation where the instrument is called piano, it's called organ, we got keys, but over here it's called keys, and the coordinator for these students is Kathy. Electric bass, upright bass, bass, but George is the coordinator of bass. So in order to get this matched up, back in the olden days, we would have to clean this up in order to get everything matched so that we know that B is an instructor and the coordinator over what piano. We don't have piano, we got keys. So we'd have to fix all of this stuff, but we're not gonna fix it. What we're gonna do is this. Okay, let's go to data. All right, so we've got the instructor's query already, the coordinator's query, and a convert query. And that is this table here, the from and the to. And here's how it works. Okay. Get data, combine queries, merge. Aha, fuzzy matching down here. I'm going down here. Look at this. Transformation table. That is my convert table. All right. So now I'm going to put my instructors here and then coordinators here. I want to match instrument and instrument. And the bridge is that convert. So, okay. Bring this up. Expand. Okay. So now we see where it says piano is keys and Kathy. That's right. Organ, keys, Kathy. The bridge was successfully made except for Celia as a singer. So what's going on there? Okay. I want to close and load this. Let's bring this up. Now what we have to do is vocals is the formal term. That's what we need the to be. And then singer. Go back here and then data, refresh, boom. Now everything is all set.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Wow.
Okay. Beautiful. So we don't have to clean this stuff up, right? So you've seen this situation before?
Not really. This is the first time I'm actually saying something like this.
And then
Chef.
look at that. That one's crazy too. Somebody
Wow.
put keyboard. So we could go clean that up here and refresh. Or if we anticipate this happening more, what we could do is
Keyboard.
board
Okay.
and then refresh, boom.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
We don't have to, because I've had situations where this chef had some things listed as veggie, vegetarian, veg, VEG, veg. So there's three entries for the same thing. If I had this at the time, that would have helped so much rather than having to go through and clean all that up.
Okay. So
Okay.
can I ask a question?
Yes.
For your fuzzy match, what was the tolerance range you used?
Oh, I didn't use a fuzzy match on this one.
Okay.
But I can show that, and I can see that there's a question here. Yeah, but that interface is confusing because I did not do a fuzzy match. I just made a conversion table. Okay. So I'm gonna close this. Okay. And let's see. Let's do this. We're gonna do a challenge one. Okay. Can somebody tell me, we've got people who've been reimbursed and how much they were reimbursed. So Delilah Actor, to be reimbursed. All right, Delilah Actor submitted the receipts. Is there anybody over here who's been reimbursed but has not submitted their receipts? We could go through Erica. Yeah, okay, Erica. but we're not going to go through this one at a time. So anybody have an idea of what join we would use? All right. So there are different ways that we can go about this. We could do a full outer join. Okay. But what we can also do is a left anti-join, because we want to know who's over here, who is not also over here. So let's see, data, queries and connections. All right, we've got reimbursed and receipts queries. Good. Get data, combine queries, merge, reimbursed, receipts. And we have to do this trick. First name, hold down the control key, last name. And you notice that little tiny 1 and 2 that helps us see what we're doing. All right, and then left anti. Okay. Bring this up. And because we did an anti-join, there is nothing under here, so I'm just gonna right click, remove. And then where do I want to put this? Okay, so I'm gonna close and load 2. Let's see. I'll put it here. Okay, so now let's verify. Wayne Castillo was reimbursed $500. There's Wayne, and there's no Wayne over here. So it is accurate. These are the people we got to call up and say, hey, pay us back the money or show us your receipts. You get to choose. Okay. All right. And I hate these filter buttons. I got to call Satya Nadella about this and say, man, these filter buttons get in my way. All right. So let's see. Any questions now? I can quickly show the fuzzy matching, or we can do anything else. Anything. I see Michael is on the camera now. You have something to say?
I've been laughing a lot.
Oh, you've been laughing. All right, cool. So I'm gonna not save that, and then I will quickly show the let's see, where is this? Okay, the fuzzy matching, because you got to watch out for these things. Okay, so here we go. Now I've got these words. Okay, Rhea and Ray, stop, post, opts, bear, horse. Okay, so data, queries and connections. Here are all of the queries. All right, so let's look at this one. Go to the source. All right, so now go back to the fuzzy matching. Okay, so the default is 0.8. Okay, and we've got these choices to ignore case or match by combining text parts. All right, but okay, cancel out of that and bring this up. Okay, there we go. All right, so this is the 80%. Okay, so it matched Rhea and Red. Okay, all caps, stop. Maybe we wanted that, maybe not. No match for Dre. B got matched with Bear, and this is at 80%. right? So let's look at this. So I bumped it up to 95% here. Okay, so it doesn't have anything crazy going on here. Okay, all right, but then we get to say 66%. It matched Rhea and Ray. Rhea and Red. Shores and Horse got matched up at 66%. And then we get down to 5%, and it just stops caring. It just said, you know what? I'm just gonna start slapping stuff together, and you're gonna just have to deal with it. But see, we got Rhea and Red Asp, Red Sap and Red, all this stuff. So just got to be careful with this. And there are times where the data set is just too big, and you might be forced to do something like this. But the point is, you got to be careful with it. All right. So that is what I wanted to share with everybody. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And but if anybody needs to see anything else, we can definitely revisit some things. The last example, what if you don't have a connector? What other way can be done using Power Query? So if I don't have that reference table, that's what I'm guessing that question is. What you could do is replace values. So if you have piano and it needs to be changed to keys, you could go in and replace that value. But then if you have a whole lot, then that gets messy. And then there are people who have written M code to where they can have that kind of connection table that will then go through and make all of the changes. But then now you got to write M code to do that. So the reference table is a huge help. All right. So hopefully I did leave enough room for other questions and conversation.
Oz, a question, please. On that last example you showed about fuzzy matching, you said that the default is 80%, right?
Yes.
So you can define what do you think it's best, to leave it at 80% or increase it to 95, or it all depends on your data set?
That depends on your data set and what's at stake. There's always come back to the context of what's going on. Is if you are mailing somebody a postcard to say, hey, my dentist office is open again, maybe you don't care if it's all precise.
Yeah, okay.
But right, if you got 10,000 of these things, maybe you come up with a strategy that says 95%, take those and move them off to the side, and then maybe don't send out to the other people, or maybe you drop that down to 80% or 70% and see how it is. But that's all strategy and context.
Okay, thank you, Oz.
Yeah. Yep, no problem. And if the stakes are really high, oh brother, you might have to get some interns to just go line by line. Because we think you have cancer. You don't mess with this. Don't play.
Yeah, better not. That's not. Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Wow. Awesome.
I had a project that was like deep. I said I an interesting one, like it was a client's work. And so what I did was I started with like 90%. So out of say about 5,000 records, it matched maybe 120. So it was easy to eyeball them. So I could just look through. So the ones that I knew that, okay, looks correct, I cut from my data, put them somewhere else. Then I did 80%. And then so I was using that, but ultimately I got to a stage where I just had to go line by line.
Yeah.
In that.
Yeah. So a strategy to iterate through, yeah. Because right, you weren't gonna do that in one step.
Okay, I'm sorry, Michael. The reason why I asked that question was because I also had a huge data set of about 20,000 lines and columns, whereby I needed to do a lookup of these values, and there was no connector. So what I had to now do, I started using find and replace, and it wasn't still working because probably, for example, the data set was caliper, and some was cali, some was represented as car, some represented as calip, but it wasn't spelled completely. So, and I had to now create a connector, and to create a connector for that was going to be so difficult. So I had to start. That is why I asked the question: what if there was no connector? What other way can we use in solving this with using Power Query?
Yeah. Yeah. You could replace values, or you could do something in. Oh my gosh, you got me thinking. Because you could maybe do an X lookup, on regular Excel, and clean that stuff up, and then take it into Power Query to do anything you need. Or yeah, and then I'm just thinking through, 'cause you might not need Power Query at all. You could just do the X lookup, as long as you don't have multiple things that need to be matched up. Yeah. But that's how I'm thinking about that. All right.
Well, Mike, I don't say something.
I wanted to ask a question, which is
Okay.
because I know Huz always have interesting client stories and experiences.
Uh-huh.
I wanted to ask if you have one regarding this, where something really, really problematic that you've had relating to what you shared with us, that in the real world that you've had to deal with clients, and some takeaways from us from those personal experiences you've had.
Any interesting questions? Any interesting projects I've had around these joins?
Yeah, even problems where you felt the people in-house were doing a very terrible job, and you wish they didn't have to create those problems, but then you've told us one that you said unfortunately this was not available when you had that one. If you have more, we can.
Well, I'll tell you one thing is, so we got legal marijuana in Washington State, right? And I was asked to go up to the store, to the marijuana store, because the store has to provide documentation to the state to make sure that the sales came from the store and not from the street. And they had hired an outfit to provide them with reports, but they were more sales reports to help them run the business. The state doesn't care about how you're running your business. And so the people at the store was sending PDFs to the state. And the state was no. They've said, we're not pulling the data out of your PDFs anymore. And the people didn't know. So I went to the store and I was able to figure out how to get a data dump to then clean out the stuff that the state didn't care about and keep the stuff the state did care about and organize it in such a way to where it was nice and easy to see, everything the state wanted. And that only took about an hour to do. It was pretty cool. And I never thought that I'd be working at a marijuana dispensary. You know, um, oh, what other things? I did some work for a financial planner, and he wanted me to build something that would import transactions and match it up against what qualifies as a billable transaction. And it was a whole lot of more moving parts that involved a whole lot of joins, because there was also, for this client, we also have the rate that they get charged. So now we got all the transactions, which ones are billable. Now that we know which ones are billable, based on the amount, what rate do they get charged? Whole lot of stuff like that. And they are a Mac only office. And
Well,
I said, yeah, I said, if we have to do this on Mac, it could be months of writing code and testing code. And I'll help you find somebody else if we're going to do that. But if we use Power Query, if you got a Windows machine anywhere, we can do this in a couple of weeks. And they agreed. They had one Windows machine in the whole office, and we were able to do this project in a couple of weeks.
Wow. Hello, can
Yeah,
you hear me?
yeah,
yes.
yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. Okay. So, any other question in the house? Any question?
Any questions? Questions, anybody? Any questions?
I don't call out names now. I've seen some very high profile people here now.
Oh, high profile. Oh
It's
my
Ahmed.
gosh.
Ahmed.
I don't know if you know him. Horst, do you know Ahmed Oyelowo?
Oh,
He's the only Ahmed in the house right now. So if you look in the list, he's
Okay.
the MVP data platform.
Ah, okay. Okay.
He's
Ahmed.
maybe I
he's
should.
Oh, Ahmed is here. All right. All right. All right. See, I dressed up for Ahmed. See?
Yeah,
Yes.
so pretty nice. I enjoyed the entire session basically,
Thank
and
you.
I'm very glad that Michael brought you here, because this is going to be the first time that we actually get to see live, even though it's not really live, right? But you can still assume that this is live, and first time we actually interact as well. So I know we sometimes interact on Twitter, on LinkedIn a couple of times as well. So yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so great job. I know a couple of guys here in Nigeria as well. People who are pretty close to me are always talking about your channel, the challenges and everything. So everybody basically likes what you do around Power Query. And also, I think I always like to recommend your LinkedIn course as well. Your Power Query course on LinkedIn is one of the best Power Query courses anybody can basically go through, especially for
Wow.
people who are just starting out. So if you check LinkedIn courses, you should see, I think it should be by far the most popular Power Query course on LinkedIn. I think so. Yeah.
Yes.
yeah.
Yep. Wow. Thank you. Wow. that means a lot. I appreciate that.
Nigeria.
Yeah.
You should come someday, after all
Yes.
the restrictions are over.
Yes.
Come out
Yes.
a selfie with your fans over here.
I would love that so much. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And you had some questions for me.
Yeah. So with regards to
Every time
that,
you ask your question, I just want to chip in maybe two things. So usually we try to do a prize to a lucky person in the house, and sometimes we are lucky that we have someone donating a present to the house, could be in terms of a cause or like that's most of what we get. And when we don't have from our own side, we give the person a course, like a training course for free. So what we like is our presenter to be the one to choose the winner. So sometimes some people say they want to pick randomly. Sometimes the one that we found to be most engaging is when the presenter asks a question that it could be something trivial. Someone has asked, okay, where I am, what city is it? Some have asked something about the session they've done. So it's a question, and then the first person to write the answer in the chat box, the correct.
Okay.
So you like the answer, and that's how we'll choose the winner is.
Okay. All right. Let me think of a question. This is fun. Okay. What state was it where I went to work at the marijuana dispensary? I mentioned the state.
Yeah, I remember the answer. I hope someone gets it. Fortunately, I'm not qualified for this.
Oh!
Yeah.
All right. We got a winner.
Coyote.
Coyote. All right.
So Coyote, are you there? Hello, Coyote.
All right.
For him.
All right. Yeah.
Just
wow, that's a nice outfit.
See?
Yeah.
I'm the only one
wow.
wearing our own outfits.
Ooh, somebody is sneaking up on you. Somebody's sneaking up on you. Watch out. Get them.
That's a kid.
Oh, okay. All right. All right.
Okay. Before we close,
Yes.
our question for close. So the first question is, can you tell us how you start your data analytic journey? Can you share with us how you start your data analytic journey?
Yeah.
And the second one is, what advice
Yep.
do you have for young someone starting?
My advice is to always remember why we work with data. Because I see a lot of tips and tricks, fancy stuff, but if payroll gets messed up, they don't care if you did a join or an index match or if you did it on a wall with some crayons. They just know payroll is messed up. So remember why we're doing this. I got involved in a situation where some termination warning letters were going out to the wrong people.
Wow.
So many angry, terrified calls. People say, I did what I was supposed to do. I did it. And so I took that seriously because their jobs were messed up. They were scared. They didn't know what the hell was going on. So that's why I'm so passionate about data and not the tips and tricks. And I think about years ago when I wrote this if statement that was 25 levels deep. I would not write something like that today, but at the time, that's what I knew how to do, and it worked, and it ended a whole lot of problems for that company. That's the bottom line. And another expert can come look at it and say, oh, Lord, why'd you do that? Well, Excel experts, we don't hire each other. We're not each other's clients. So I did not write that formula for somebody else to say, wow, Oz, you're brilliant. Now, I wrote it to solve the problem of that company. And my journey, it really started with when I was in the call center and my supervisor and director kept complaining that I was taking too few calls. My calls were too long. I was taking too much time between calls. And I figured, okay, I can get mad because I'm working and I'm helping people. I'm doing a good job. I could go to my director and complain, but I was thinking, they've got data, I need some data. So I opened this thing called Excel and wrote down everything I did for a week. And I started to see categories emerge, and then I could start, grouping things together. And I made some ugly pie charts and stuff, made some ugly summaries, but it articulated what was going on at my desk. And I sent it to the president of the company. This is one of those things where I had to decide, is this the ditch I'm willing to die in? Yes, it was. So I sent that data to the president of the company, fully expecting to be fired. But he took it seriously. And things changed because they had no idea how many tech support calls were coming into the call center. They thought every job, every call was, here, sign me up for class and take my money. No, about a third of my calls were long tech support calls. And so they eventually outsourced the tech support and changed some stuff around. And that story is important because that's where I saw that I was taken seriously because I had data. I wasn't just this bitter employee saying, damn it, leave me alone. No, that's when I get walked down to HR. That's but I got taken seriously, and we eventually got a director that saw that I had a knack for this stuff, a passion for it, and I wound up with different roles that were all data driven, a lot of messy data. And then there was a layoff in '08, and I started doing freelance projects. And that was a very helpful thing. And another piece of advice where people, they want to master Excel. Well, you don't master Excel, but you can get exposed to a whole lot of things to see this logistics person, the small flower shop, the chef, the bank, the marijuana store, the shoe store. Their various needs and how they're similar and how they're different. And one thing I've seen consistently is everybody's got the clean data at some point. The data never shows up ready to be used. So that was a real blessing, the layoff that then allowed me to see a whole lot of stuff. Because there's a difference between being good with data and Excel versus having a job like maybe you do commissions. You can do commissions and be good at Excel for doing commissions, right? But if you get exposed to a whole lot of things, then you really broaden out and get better with the tool.
Wow, 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 wow.
Thanks for all this very wise saying. There's something I want to hear. There's a story I want to hear, and I'm sure the audience will be grateful that I'm asking it. So most people do not know that you have a very interesting background. You started from the armed forces. You started with the Navy. So I want to even hear the story of, how you decided. Okay, you told us, but anyway, I still want to hear a story that goes far back to when you were in the Navy. I always like stories from people from the armed forces.
Oh, so what do you want to know about the Navy?
Okay, so for you, why did you decide, to go out of that space
Hmm.
even maybe it was to go into corporate job like outside
Right.
completely of that space?
Well, that was a long and twisted journey. So I was in the Navy, and my job was navigation. So I was in the front of the ship, and I had the charts, and I would know, okay, so we are navigating the ship to Singapore, and we have to. Hmm. Hmm.
You're working with data for a long time because that's also data and like
Yeah, that's data. Yep. Ahmed, thank you, thank you. So yeah, so I had the charts, and we're supposed to be in Singapore by this date, and here is our path, and then I've got to calculate the wind and the currents and the waves and everything, because say we want to drive this way, we might have to drive this way because the wind and the currents are pushing us. So yeah, I had to calculate that stuff. Uh, and stayed up for 3 days taking a ship through the Suez Canal. I mean, you'd be surprised how much a human body can do when it has to do it. Yeah, we stayed up for 3 days. Um, but then I did not like being in the Navy. I got seasick. I did not like all of the control. And so I signed up for 6 years and I got out. But there's no jobs in the civilian world for navigating a ship. Um, and then I went and got a degree in philosophy. So then what? Then various little jobs and going around, and lived in California briefly. And then I went to a temp agency in Chicago, and they called me back, and they had a call center job, the thing that I did not want, but I needed the money. I took the job. I was a bad ornery employee. Um, but then after so many calls and people being upset about something, I got up and I would go and ask, okay, um, there was this body that they would report people once they continued their continued education. This group of people, they would report people, or you report people to Maryland or Washington State or Florida. And then somebody from Florida is saying, I did my work. Why wasn't I reported? The people over in reporting said, well, the person wasn't on my report. Then I would look at the data in the database, and I could see visually this person has 3 profiles, and their 4 courses are sprinkled across the 3 profiles. And that's why the person didn't own the report. So then I had to go to the DBA, the database admin, to tell him about merging those records. And there's all kinds of stuff to do to get this person to show up on that report. But that's really where I started to understand data. I still didn't have Excel skill. This was just me getting up and going to the DBA, telling him to fix it. And then after a while, I said, I'm gonna fix this my damn self. I just never mind all this, because more and more reports, I would notice that they're triggered by weird stuff. So I said, okay. There were some jobs I had where they would send me a report every month, and there was always something messed up about it. Okay, just stop sending me this report. I know how to go into the database and write a query to get all the data out. I couldn't, the DBA, he would run really beautiful reports with summaries and stuff. I didn't know how to do that, but I could get a data dump, and I could do some sums, and I can move cells around, and I can sort and filter and color cells. I couldn't do any conditional formatting yet, but that started giving me the insight. Why didn't this person show up on the report? Okay, I see. So let me go check. Okay. Filtering and sorting saved. It's like you don't need a whole lot. Yeah, I wish I had VLOOKUP earlier than I had it, but caring and being willing to do the effort, that got me a long way. And then when I learned pivot tables and VLOOKUPs, that just made things easier.
Wow, 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 wow. Wow. It's so deep. It's so deep.
It's deep. And the
It's,
one thing I want to stress is that I don't want to romanticize this.
okay.
When the new director came in, he told me 10 years later that he was supposed to fire me. So I can tell you the stories about me getting up and being difficult and solving problems. But fortunately, that director saw that I was adding something. Had it been somebody else, I might have been fired and doing something else right now. So
Wow, thanks,
pick the
thanks for
ditch that you
sharing.
die in, all right?
Yeah,
Because you might die in.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. Wow, wow.
Thank
Right.
So some of you that want to connect with us, I've shared his LinkedIn profile right now. So I'll share it again. So it's on the chat
Mhm.
below. Also, I'm going to share his YouTube channel link.
Wow, this has been great. I really appreciate this.
Yeah. And so also thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. Really appreciate it.
Yes, you're
Yeah.
so welcome.
But thanks, we are so very grateful for the amazing knowledge share, the personal stories, and this is something different from what I've always been hearing in most of the sessions. So it's really cool. And
Mhm.
thanks to everyone too. So
Yes,
Yeah.
we're very grateful. I know it's early morning for you, and it's a huge sacrifice for us this evening. So
this
thank
is
you.
beautiful.
Thanks.
All right.
So
Thank you.
one more
Yep.
thing. One more thing.
Yep.
There's the feedback form is on the chat below, so you can just check the feedback form and fill it.
Okay, that's for the audience then.
Yeah,
Okay,
for
so
the
thanks,
audience.
audience. Just give us your feedback. If you want to bring somebody, let us know who you want us to bring and all of that. So, but
Okay.
from me to you all and from our special guest, have a very
Bye.
All right.
here.
Thank
And
you. Thank
happy
you.
birthday in arrears again.
Oh, that's
All
good.
right. Thank you. Appreciate that. This has
Long
been
life.
good.
Long
Okay,
life.
cool. Thank you very, very much.
All
Uh,
right.
session now.
Bye.